Hello and welcome to another episode of Arcade FPS Quick Looks. Today we're having a look at another single player title by the name of Wrack. So let's have a quick look at the old menu before we hop into the game. Now Wrack's a game that came out probably around I think it was September 2014. And I don't think it got as much attention as it probably deserves. It's a kind of an old school inspired kind of arcadey shooter. Very much of a kind of a Quake 2 vibe, like a bit of Doom, a bit of Quake, a bit of Duke Nukem, like those kind of themes. However, using a very different kind of art aesthetic. I can't say that word. We'll deal with it. It's got pretty what's the word? Comprehensive. We'll go with comprehensive. It has pretty comprehensive options. So even though it's not very graphically demanding, you can have a lot of choice in how you want the game to be graphically thrown into your face. And it is very much thrown into your face. It's a very kind of bold art style, which I quite like. I quite appreciate the older, the art kind of cel-shaded look, similar to Borderlands, but with a different style of gameplay. So we're just going to load into a new campaign and play for about 15 minutes, so we can have a bit of a talk. Let's play hardcore. Why not? The story isn't the best thing. It's alright. I mean, it's there to exist as a story rather than to be a main focus. So I'm just going to skip all the little narrations. So this is Wrack. It's a very fast-paced shooter with a massive sword. Those of you who liked these games back in the early 90s, well, it would have been mid-90s and late 90s actually, really. Oh gosh, this is what I get. There we go. This is quite a common theme. There's a lot of buttons. It's a very button-inspired game, but it's very similar to the early 90s combat. No reloading. Just this is the first issue I have for the game. So I'll just finish off what I'm saying first. So yeah, it's inspired by kind of 90s shooters, no reloading, kind of fast movement, in your face, kind of lots of monsters. However, there's a few issues, and one of which I just experienced, being that it doesn't confine the mouse to your monitor that you're playing on. So right then, if you move your mouse cursor far enough, it'll move it outside of your first monitor. So if you're having a 2-monitor setup, you'll end up kind of clicking outside and it'll minimize it. And regardless of how you run the game, whether it's kind of on kind of borderless windowed or full screen, it still seems to do this. I've not found a way of fixing it. Where did he come from? So that's kind of an issue which I hope the developer will fix. It's rather irritating. Besides that, there's only one or two minor gripes I have. Overall, it's quite a fun game. The combat's fun. It's fun to shoot things like endless waves of enemies. The movement's very fun. It's nice kind of having a fast-paced shooter. There's like different ways you can tackle the level. It's not particularly that linear. You have to complete certain things in order to complete the level, but you can do it in kind of different orders. The combat's not too challenging to begin with, but it picks up. The bosses are quite good. The bosses are definitely a highlight. But it's just fun to jump around and kind of kill all these enemies. These aren't games that you see very much anymore. Although with Strafe having been kickstarted, we might see a bit of a resurgence. So this is kind of like a mini precursor boss. And obviously it's a tutorial level, so it's not going to be all too challenging. There you go. So there's a lot of good things to say about it. There are a few gripes, like I said, with the mouse cursor. The other one I'd have to say is the enemies are a little bit samey. After kind of completing the first 3 or 4 levels, you're still mostly seeing the same enemies as you do in the tutorial. I feel like they could have... there we go, there's a secret. Oh. I don't think it actually has strafe jumping. I don't know why I'm trying to circle jump. That's alright. It knocked me back at like maximum 5 seconds. Performance is good, as you'd expect from a game that's kind of not too graphically... there we go. The window got minimised again. But yeah, performance is good, but you wouldn't expect it to be tanking your frame rate. The sound design is rather good on the music. It has like a really good soundtrack to it. In fact, let's have a listen to it for a couple of seconds. I'll let you appreciate the music. So it has yeah, pretty crunchy guitar-y, kind of something you'd expect from a game of this genre. It's very fitting. So I have a lot of good things to say about it. The monsters being a bit samey, kind of, it makes up for it a little bit in that you often see the same monster but with a different kind of attack. Or like the same monster with like different health or armor, so it's a little bit more challenging to kill them, but there's no major differences, which is something that they could have maybe improved on them a bit more. What else do I have to say? The actual weapon sounds are pretty good, although the enemy sounds aren't great. They're just kind of generic kind of audio that you'd expect from like monsters. There's nothing kind of that really stands out on the audio design for the monster's perspective, and it's the same issue with the monster animations. The actual player animations aren't too bad. Like when you shoot a gun, it looks like you're shooting a gun, and there's quite a lot of weight behind the attack animations. But the actual monster animations, a lot of the time, it doesn't feel all too convincing. And there's, I mean, a lot of these gripes are to be expected from an indie game. It's, you know, it's not going to have a multi-million dollar or pound even budget. So, as a result, it's going to have compromises, and often compromises are in sound design and animation design, because those are kind of more difficult to do, because often you have to get a good programmer and a good graphic designer to do the art, not the actual visuals, but the actual sound and the amount of ammo, which is... oh no, I do have ammo, I must have picked them up. Yeah, often you can't afford or get the resources to get someone in to do really good sound design and really good animation design. They're harder to do, so it is a complaint, but it's, you know, it's manageable. And if you enjoy this kind of game and this kind of combat and this kind of art style even, then it's definitely something worth picking up. It's quite fun. I assume this is like the antagonist of the series. So that's the first level. I'll just play a little bit of the second level just so you can kind of see what a real level's like, because this is a very short kind of tutorial rather than a real proper level. They get much longer as soon as you get onto the second level. So this is like the second chapter. in some kind of toxic industrial plant. The story isn't, you know, if you read through the cutscenes, the story's probably explained, but again, I haven't really been paying attention. So at this point, you can either take this route left here or the other route, and you can kill these guys up here because they keep throwing things at you. One thing I haven't mentioned is there is kind of a kill streak system, which I shall try and endeavour to get once I find enough enemies close together to actually get a kill streak. Might be possible here. Come on. Maybe? Possibly? No, okay. Can't need my shotgun. Need some ammo for my shotgun. Oh, there we go. Just minimise. Right. There we go. So that beepy sound means you're getting a kill streak, and there's like that visor thing in the middle, and that means that's the amount of time you have to get the next kill. And it's kind of like score based, so you get a score at the end of the level based on how well you've done. And then you kind of keep replaying the levels to try and improve your score and get better scores in terms of time and the amount of points you get, which is quite a nice way of kind of increasing replayability, rather than just, you know, having it randomly generated or other ways you can kind of implement features to increase replayability. Doing time attacks is quite a viable way, and if you're into like speed running, this might be quite a good game actually. I can imagine a speed running community could pick this up and have a bit of fun with it. However, it could be more challenging. Like in general, it's not. I think I've died more to like jumping into lava like an idiot than I have to actually enemies. I think this is the most difficult setting at the moment that I have available. You might be able to unlock more ones. I'm not exactly struggling. Oh. Oh, see what I mean? It's a little bit slidey in places. You don't necessarily stop as quickly as I'd like to, although that might just be my fault. There seems to be a little bit of like a glide when you stop moving. Come on. No. Oh. Ah, it's a door that opens behind me. I see. And there's secrets to be found. Like that, as a secret. It's not a secret, but you know, it's, you have to think somewhat creatively to find it. And of course you can blow the barrels up and do damage to things around them. But if you do that, you can't get to the secret, so planning ahead. Oh, out of ammo. So this is Wrack. It's not too expensive on Steam. It's probably definitely worth picking up if it's in sale. Again, it's quite new, came out 2014, so you may not have seen it before. And if you haven't, it's well worth having a look at. There are some issues. Hopefully they might try and improve them. There's some things they could definitely improve. For example, there's an animation of this kind of big robot thing, which we might see in a second actually. Can't remember where it is. Where it slams the ground, and if you're kind of in proximity, it will do damage to you if you're standing on the ground, whereas if you jump, you don't take any damage. The issue being is there's no animation apart from him kind of like thumping his fists down on the ground, and there's no kind of shockwave or anything like that, which would kind of make it more visually give you some visual indication that that's what's happening, like there's being damage done to the ground rather than just him trying to hit them missing. Another thing is there's a lot of these buttons it's very much click a button, open a room, kill the things that spawn, find another button. It might improve into the later levels. Already complete. I think I'm on like chapter 3 or 4. It might improve after that. But yeah, Wrack. It's on Steam. Give it a look if you fancy it. If you don't, well, maybe wait till it's on sale and then it might be a little bit more valuable to you. So I've been Galangua. Thanks for checking out this quick look. We're going to have some more content for you soon. Neeple should be back pretty shortly, and we have some more multiplayer content for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you shortly.